Day is now more and more will enjoy. Go out into the wild and have a crayfish barbecue. You can tell by the color alone. Guaranteed 100% pure, no spices added. That's not enough. Another pot of snail soup. It's also served with onions and taro. It's hard to imagine what it's going to taste like. I heard a chuckle from time to time. Can't be much worse, can it? Yi was invited by his cousins to explore Guangxi. Such an experience is also very rare. It is recommended that you come to visit during the holiday. Experience the wonders of nature. Good looks are good today, but the rugged terrain and sharp stones. Still somewhat worried about the risks of going barefoot. The bag is full of old actors. To cope with the humidity of the jungle, desiccant and towels are ready. Make sure the camera is working properly. Old rule, let the drone explore first. Spotted a colony of monkeys nearby, since they can all survive here. Dai thought he had no problem. I mean, you don't have any equipment on you, right? But he can do it with his own hands. If you just starve for 10 days, it's really not a challenge at all. I have to find a way to nourish myself. The environment feels comfortable now. Yi does not think so. I read the local weather forecast before I came. There's going to be a heavy rain today. Everything looks the same. If it wasn't for the drone, it's really easy to get lost. But there are hurdles to climb for a man with no shoes. It's really very unfriendly. It's only a short start. My feet are starting to ache. He also found snakes waiting for him. Being number one in the world, a little snake is certainly not afraid. The problem is not catching. Most of them are protected by law. Just look at it, not taste it. But it makes my heart itch. Further and further into the jungle. It feels good to step on the moss. It's just not easy finding a place to camp. It's almost dark. He doesn't have much time. The worst thing is hearing thunder. Fortunately, we found a natural cave. Damp is a little damp. At least you don't have to worry about the rain tonight. Look around. What's there to eat? Think this cricket is a good choice. You don't even bake it. You just put it in your mouth. I'm sure some people will say it's bad to eat raw. Just the way things are right now. Food is good enough. It doesn't taste very good, but it does restore a lot of energy. There's no way Day would miss this. Just grab it and eat it. The only problem is it gets stuck in your throat, which is why it's best not to eat the legs. Simple resupply and return to the cave. The more he looked at it, the less satisfied he became. If it wasn't raining hard, I'd rather sleep outside on the ground. I'm not worried about mosquitoes getting on my body. What can I eat anyway? I don't think anyone's going to challenge me here. You don't have any useful equipment with you. It's not as easy as everyone makes it out to be. Wait till you get what you need to survive. We're going to have to enjoy nature. I wonder if he's getting old. I feel less hungry than I used to. There's always something to eat. Since there are monkeys here, Yi thought that water and food must not be a problem. Just some gnat bites. Be careful. The challenge comes to day 2. It's not comfortable to sleep on the ground. Plus the temperature keeps dropping at night. It's cold enough to make me wonder about life. Shelter and fire need to be arranged early. Continue to explore the jungle. Snakes can be seen walking around every day. I don't know if it's poisonous or not. If you get a bite, call somebody. I don't like the snakes around here. The good news is all the plants here look familiar. In theory, there should be no problem. Sage like this is edible. Pull the seeds off and use them for salad. There's plenty to eat around here. The only way to know is to taste the poison. I'll try to taste what I know. This sorrel is a good choice. It tastes like lemon, sweet and sour, especially appetizing. It made his stomach even hungrier. He didn't mind either, collecting as much as he could for his salad. After some fiddling, the special salad is done. The finished product looks pretty good. They thought it was a great breakfast. 100% natural without any pollution. Every now and then you can hear a chuckle. It's just that no amount of this stuff will fill you up. It also makes the mental state a little better. Day didn't want to lie in the wet anymore. Let's see if we can light the fire now. The wood around is soggy and doesn't rub well to start a fire. It's a good thing we have bamboo here. It's definitely easier to live a successful life than wood. Bamboo fire saw principle is relatively easy to understand. Just get some tinder out first, then cut a hole and rub it back and forth. As long as it brings out the Mars. Yi is confident that he can light the fire. Let's do it. Let's do it right away. I just need a little line, then put the tinder on the bamboo. That should be enough for me. Players have used this technique before, especially good for fires in wet environments. Day doesn't think it's very technical. It's all about rubbing it back and forth. The faster you rub, the easier it is to ignite. It took more energy than I thought, but after an hour of trying, still failed to light the fire. Well, that's a hell of a break for Durham. There is no way but to stop first. It's just too humid out here. Move to a dry place tomorrow. He didn't believe it could make a fire fail. No one expected it to be. And rain falls at night. It's rare for a master to make a mistake in judgment. I didn't do very well today. You should not try a bamboo fire saw without proficiency. If we had stuck with the bow drill, the results might have been different. There is no use in thinking more. Let's get some sleep and start the fire tomorrow. So Yi lay waiting for the morning. It wasn't so good. Now occasionally raindrops fall. Day doesn't want to get all wet. It just gets really cold in the cave. It's all about the body and the vegetarian diet. It was the third day. It hasn't stopped raining till now. It's like a freezer in here. We can't just sit here and suffer. Just clean up and say you're leaving. Water has accumulated on the ground. It's not easy going through the jungle. It's going to make it even worse. I feel like I can't feel my feet. I had to speed up and get away from here. Gather food on the way. You get plums to eat. It's also a good idea to relieve cravings a little. You can see there's a lot of trees here. We can collect some food on the road while the rain stops. That's a lot of quantity. Day feels like he can survive the challenge until it's over. I can't keep being controlled by Plum. Let's see if there's anything we can camp in. The best thing is to light the fire. That said, I never stop talking about it. I want to cut the tree down and take it with me. Soon came to the river. Suddenly found is the local unique scenery. The people who live here are really happy. I'd love to spend some time in the mountains myself. Can't continue to indulge in nature. Hurry up and find the right place to camp. You can still find food on the way. Like this sorrel gnawing a little bit like wood. It's not very good. It's a little nourishing. The reason why Day was able to fight the wild for so long. The most important thing is to learn about different plants every day. Know what not to eat. That's how you feel safe in the wild. There are plenty of plants around to eat. It's a vegetarian's paradise. Although that doesn't really fill you up, but there was something to eat along the way. It felt really, really good. Don't you remember what it's like to be hungry? It's just getting tired. The equipment in the bag is a little heavy. I mean, I can walk all day without a problem. I finally found a nice place. That's a grapefruit tree. It's very flat down there for camping. Tak fell in love with this place right away. Clean up the area and you should be fine. Rely on this tree to build a shelter with a roof. There's bamboo around to use. It'll be nice to have it up by then. The more I think about it, the happier I am. This is the first time we've ever had enough resources. Immediately start collecting bamboo and bringing it over. I was going to put the bed down and there was a fire next door. Ideas are good. Just heard the thunder again. I don't know if we'll get this done before it rains. Day had to redouble his efforts to build. This side of the roof is ready. All you need to do in the back is spread the banana leaves. I'm afraid the wind will blow this away. There's not much time to deal with it. Let's just make do with it for the night. The thought it was pretty good. I'll add more when I have time. As long as it's not a storm. I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight. I think that's fine now. Bring the luggage here at once. There's just no time to make a fire. But it's still warmer than the cave side. While there's still time, make a simple bed off the floor. I'm sure I'll get a good night's sleep today. Life has been a lot more challenging. I ate myself up the whole way. There really aren't many happy days left. If we light the fire tomorrow, this challenge is almost complete. Is there anything that can be done now? Take the time to lie down and rest. Day 4 of the challenge. Even though it didn't rain all night, but you can still feel the chill here. My body was already trembling. The most important thing today is the fire. The problem is that the leaves blow off the roof. Day still has to finish the top first. Just carry and collect on your own. The physical exertion was so fast, but the finished product was good. Day thinks it's not only pretty, but waterproof. He is convinced that no amount of rain will make any difference. The best way to start a fire is with a fire saw. You know what I said about trying everything. Suddenly, I saw a king cobra over there. I'm afraid we're about to open the table. Better than I want to mess with. We just have to wait it out. The neighborhood is especially good for hidden snakes. I thought I'd run into a snake, but not as much as this side. I hope you don't crawl into bed at night. Anyway, let's get the fire started, okay? This was pretty much the same as previous attempts. To increase the success rate, scratch the surface of the bamboo with a stone. These are very good kindling. You can rub your body against the bamboo. If you don't want to hurt yourself, you can wrap it in your underwear. It'll be less painful to rub. The effect is also very obvious. It will take a while to get the ashes out for the fire. After several busy days, it finally lit up. Hold your own here until the flames flare up. You didn't want to turn around and put out the fire. Now we have everything we need to survive in the wild. How can I make my life more comfortable? I can't believe how happy he is right now. He picked up loquats on the ground and ate them. Let's just say he picked a good season to challenge. There's plenty of fruit. Look around and you'll find a lot. Tak thought he could live a better life. At least get some meat to eat. There's still time before dark. Use the long bamboo to make a bed. It was supposed to be in the dirt, but the rocks here are a little thick. It had to be built out of rock instead. After a lot of busy work, finally got this bed done. I want to sleep better. That would have to be covered with leaves. The finished product looks pretty good. It's very comfortable to lie on. He also wanted to collect a lot of dry wood. He had no idea how well he would sleep tonight. I can't keep that smile down, even if you don't eat anything for the rest of your life. I have a feeling Day can survive the challenge. He's going to look around tomorrow. I hope to have the freedom of barbecue here. The challenge is on its 5th day. De Ye's mental state that is very good. The laughter never stopped. He didn't want to stay in the shelter and watch the fire. I intend to explore deeper. There's a river just over the ridge. Maybe we can catch a fish there. The light in the cave is not very good. The master will be the torch to finish. Thanks to the help of this pine tree. Just go back and take care of this. Heat the resin in the bamboo. When melted, add bamboo chips. It took longer than I thought. I can only be in front of the camera, telling funny stories about past challenges. He thought life was about moving on. The resin is almost melted. De Yi began to make wrenches for easy access. I have to say that bamboo is really versatile. A combination of resin and bamboo shavings. It's especially easy to light up. It just doesn't smell good. It's like a wife waxing. He smiled as he spoke. I hope my wife didn't see that. The torch has been handled with laughter. There's even a spare. Just get everything ready. Start heading to the cave. This side is bigger than I thought. The further you go inside, the narrower it gets. Just enough for Dird to walk on his own. Soon there was a light ahead. Hurry up and go over there. It's even more exciting in there than I thought. He wondered what was at the end. The water looks a little deep here. Day wouldn't take too many chances. Just get some water to make it up. I just didn't realize there were snails to eat. Collect as many as you can and eat them back. This is still a good harvest. There must be enough snails to fill your stomach. If it weren't for the torch, there's something wrong with it. I'm afraid I'll catch more snails to eat. We can only hope there are enough spare torches. But the worst fears came true. Day can only smear the whole way back. It took a lot of work to finally see the light. The expedition picked up a bunch of snails. Overall, it went well. There are so many plants around. I think I can get some condiments. One of the more common is wild garlic. This is going to be great with snails. Soon he found it and picked it up. It's a little smaller though, but it's better than nothing, you know? Just see the little white flower at the end. It's basically one pick at a time. I was happy to have onions. I didn't know there was any taro to eat. Day can't wait for his snail soup. The ingredients are very rich. Now we just need to use this piece of bamboo as a container. Put the water in first, and then put the ingredients in. It says there's no knife to peel it. But tax teeth are good. Just put it in your mouth, and you're done. It's all imported food. Too bad, no one's here to try it. Now just wait for the soup to cook. Tak thinks he has a gift for cooking. He likes to explore the wilderness looking for food. This is so much better than ordering takeout. After De Yi came to Guangxi, he ate snail, rice noodles every day. He didn't think his soup was bad either. This is cooked with rice noodles on top. It must be delicious. I want you to try it. De Yi thinks rivers in nature are unusual. Makes for a lot of strange landscapes. Makes you want to experience it. After an hour of boiling, the soup smells good. De Yi put the food into his mouth and tasted it carefully. This is even more delicious than I thought. It's just the snail shell is a little hard to chew. Overall, it's really good, although it's a little hard to hit a snail with a rock. But the meat is really delicious. That's a proper benefit. Even the soup in it. He thinks he can eat it every day. The mood is so good. I believe that tomorrow will be more moist. Snails are arguably the best caught in the wild. Tak has eaten a lot in his life. You could write a book about it. He was already looking forward to what he was going to get. A few days into the challenge. The first few days were spent on fruit and snails. I was hoping for a nice meal. Unexpectedly, it began to rain again. I thought I'd give up. I didn't realize there were a lot of crayfish on this side of the river. It made him very excited. This is how you move the gravel to pick up the crayfish. I mean, it's a little smaller, but it's still good. I think this place is really nice. I filled my pockets in less than half an hour. I have to reward myself with grilled shrimp tonight. I have to say the harvest was quite rich. Skewer them and set them on fire until cooked. It's delicious just to look at, even though there's no seasoning. But the bake is really good. No one can refuse this delicious taste. De Yi ate that was quite happy, planning to have a barbecue after the challenge. This life is really good. The challenge is only 10 days away. But what he's prepared to come out with. Totally capable of staying for a long time. As I get older, there's growing in awe of nature. You used to think you could conquer nature. Now I realize how ridiculous. It's nice to be on friendly terms with him. De Yi suggested that everyone go outside more, being able to feel something different. Before you know it, the last day has come. Don't forget to put things back together before you leave. Pack up and head to the extraction point. I didn't live as well as I thought I would, but it also meets the most basic survival challenge. I think it's going pretty well. Don't know where to go back next challenge. Let's wait and see. De Yi again grabs the iguana. I'm afraid he's bigger than my face. The biggest surprise is that there are eggs in it. Just put it in the water and cook. Who knows the gold content of this soft egg? Of course, the most important thing is the roast. It's like eating a crispy chicken. You think that's enough for Da. He also gets clams and marinades them with lemon juice. It doesn't look like much, but after soaking, take this bite. The smile of the mouth can no longer be suppressed. In addition, there are all kinds of fruits to eat after dinner. Man, is this really a challenge? The Yi is back in Panama for another holiday. The mood was very happy, although the challenge was a little bad, but he was sure there would be no problem this time. Say so. As the helicopter moves closer and closer to the island, the mood will inevitably be tense. There's no landing spot on the coast. Lorda is going to start with a wet seduction. Luckily, the camera bag was waterproof. I don't know what else to do. Dee thought as he swam. How do you think about this challenge? Don't look at the island scenery. It's the dry season, you know. The temperature is in the 40s. Heat stroke and dehydration happen sooner or later. The food is not worried. It's just that water will be harder to find. The equipment in the bag is working fine. Day still likes this view. It must be nice lying on the beach. But if it's a challenge, I have to think about where to camp. I came to live on the shore. I almost broke a guy. This is no time for memories. Dee wasted no time in throwing himself into the challenge. Get over the trouble from your last challenge. Try to live well in these 10 days. The most important thing at the moment must be water. I noticed a coconut while I was still in the air. Just make enough of them. Don't worry about dehydration for the rest of your days. Ideas are good. It's just the coconut's a little hard to get off. Only the green coconuts that fall down can be eaten. Most of what the question sees is brown. I went around and found a few. Just go to the beach every day. I believe coconut is enough to drink. I need something sharp to crack open the core. The beach is still rocky. Tak immediately explodes the coconut to get the coconut juice. It's still the taste of growing up. Maybe it's been a little too long. It feels a little bitter, but I'm just happy to be hydrated. The Yi smashed open another coconut to taste. The coconut meat in it is also very fragrant. In fact, coconuts can do the challenge on their own, but if you want to live a good life, I need you to find out more about your surroundings. The resource points are refreshed on the shore every day. For survival in the wild, able to find all kinds of useful things. Think back to the challenge more than a decade ago. It didn't stack up that much. The Yi still hopes that everyone can take more care of the environment. I have to say there's a lot of rope here. Whether it's building shelters or traps, I can use it myself. Compared to drinking coconut water every day, Tak still wants fresh water on the hour. After all, it's the only way to drink until you're full. The bottom of the ditch is darker here. In theory, there should be water. The problem is now, in the dry season. The surface groundwater is gone. We're just gonna have to dig inside. Not too deep, I hope. But they had not dug long before they hit rocks. Faced with such a situation, the Yi can only stop to rest. Continue to explore deeper into the lowlands. You don't know what's going on here. Brambles all over the ground make your feet hurt. I can't help but scream when I step on it. The culprit is the black palm. As far as the eye can see, a shoeless man doesn't want to be a hedgehog. Give up and run away. Only technology can help. See where we can find water. Ever since we got this drone, I don't even have to go up there. Can save a lot of physical time. Soon found another beach. It's a lot better than here. More suitable for camping. I highly recommend you to try it. It's really amazing. Next he's going around to the other side. A little harder though, but if we can find water, it was all worth it. We got about 2 hours before dark. Tak decided to spend the night on the beach. Throw pillows are all set up. Dig out a storm wall first. Dee thought it would start well. I didn't realize I picked the wrong place to start. If we land on the other side, you'll be more comfortable. The storm wall is as simple as this. Make do with the night. Try to wake up in the morning and leave. All night, without words, came to the next day. Day was not in a good mood. The sea breeze chilled the whole night. Gotta force it on and wake up. The tidal range is very large here. If we don't get to the other side in time, I'm afraid I'm gonna be stuck on this beach. Sea conditions are acceptable so far. Just be careful not to slip. Theoretically, you can get around it. But here's the thing. I can't hold my body together. We have no choice but to see if there's a longboard. The Yi was lucky. As soon as I came, I saw a longboard. Just enough room for myself. It floats when put out to sea. It's not enough to just bring a camera bag. We need a little more buoyancy. You got everything on the beach. The styrofoam is whatever you want. The Yi also found himself a pair of shoes. Patronize the collection of materials have forgotten to prevent the sunscreen. Now the skin is burning. Just stay in the shade. Dee found a lot of apples over there. Too bad they're going to be sent to Mama. The locals prefer to bask in the sun. I don't want to rest under a tree. After all, touching the SAP can hurt. It's a lot safer on my side. You can even pick some fruit and eat it. Too bad it's undercooked and sour. If I knew the sun was so strong, I left it in the shade to build a raft. There's no way. After the coconut water. Get the stuff here and make it now. Styrofoam sandwich between 2 boards. Tak is sure the buoyancy will be enough. Now all we have to do is tie the rope. Too lazy to clean up the rope. Use the stone to break the sharp parts of the metal. That's not enough. It needs to be put on the stone and polished. At least sharp enough to cut through the rope. Yi took the new knife and tried it. It went a lot better than I thought. One more step before the raft is finished. Don't look like you're doing it easy. In fact, the body is too tired. Mainly early exposure to the sun. I'm thirsty and tired now. Lie down and relax a little. The sun's not as strong as it used to be. Yi immediately dragged the raft to the beach. All I got today is a coconut supplement. Now it's time to fall asleep. I hope you leave tomorrow without a hitch. Soon the challenge came to day 3. Master De, that is Visible Haggard. I can't help being blown by the sea breeze every day. Can only hope on the other side. Picked up some fruit before we left. Give it a little rinse and put it straight in your mouth. It's a lot sweeter than I thought. It just tastes a little worse. Pretty much like that vomit. The average person really can't resist it. After a simple energy boost, tow the raft out to sea immediately. If you're not carrying a bag, Yi is now in a very uncomfortable mood. Looks like we need an upgrade. At least add an outside bracket. The beam has to be above the water, so it doesn't add drag. Try it out immediately after the upgrade. It's much more stable now than it was before. Plus the bag, that's no problem at all. The mood is instantaneously good. Just keep up the pace. Yi believed that he would soon be able to reach another beach. It's the currents and the wind that get in their way. It took a lot more effort than I thought. The good news is the destination is right up there. The bad news is my hands are exhausted. Every stroke feels like a tear. It took almost 2 hours. Master Do is finally back on land. Now I just want to lie down and rest. I hope it's worth it. Previously seen by drone. Walk through the jungle and you'll see the different colors. Theoretically, there should be water to drink. Soon we're on this side of the gully. There's water on the surface, though. But we're not sure it's fresh water. They didn't really want to drink it. What germs are you worried about picking up? I tasted it, and it was fresh water. If you want to drink, you need to filter it. At least the color has to be clear. The simplest and most effective way is to bottle it, and then put it in the sun to sterilize. That's not enough. You cut the bottle to make a funnel. Coconut bark for the first layer of the filter. This will filter out a lot of sand. It's all about the charcoal. The toxic substances in the water are trapped by this. Plus, all the clutter. The filter is all done. How about trying it right away? It's still not the best color, but at least there are no particles in it. It won't choke my throat. Day thinks he's doing a pretty good job. The next step is to put it on the black rock. It has to be pasteurized for 4 hours. Master Do waited and waited. I finally get a drink of water. It's much better than coconut water. No more dehydration to worry about. Turns out coming over here was the right thing to do. It's just shelter, fire, food. Feeling a little down. That's the rest of the day. The challenge is on its 4th day. Yi did not sleep very well. It's not as passionate as when we first came. I'm going to try to make a fire today, so that fresh water can be boiled and drunk. There's a lot of dry wood. I'm going to start a fire with a fire plow. It's just 2 pieces of wood rubbing up against each other. There's no skill. It's all brute force. The ashes were soon rubbed out. The flame is easily fixed. No more worrying about getting cold at night. The mood is so good. You have to reward yourself with a hot cup of tea. I was just thinking I wish I had meat. I didn't expect a snake to come out and give me some warmth. I mean, I would have been up there before. But it's not easy to see the snake grow so big. Day struggled for a long time. Decided not to eat snake for the night. Just drink a lot of hot plastic tea. It doesn't taste very good, but hot and comfortable. See what you can eat down the coast. I was hoping for some fish or something. Fill up this stupid basket. Lucky to find a starfish under a rock. In addition, there are a lot of small fish, snails, and other food. Just enough to fill your pockets. Dai regretted letting go of the snake. That distraction almost killed the finale. Based on the ingredients we've found so far, I don't feel like I'm having a good time. Because there is no pot for cooking. Tak just put it in a plastic bag and heat it up, although it has a pungent smell when it burns. But it's nice to make a pot of soup. It took a while to get it out. At least make sure everything is cooked. Starfish doesn't taste good, not to mention the taste. The kind of food that even Master Tak hates. You can imagine how bad it is. Only the crab feels slightly better. At least there's protein. My stomach is still growling with hunger. Lie down and sleep and dream about something to eat. The challenge is on its 5th day. A lot of food was wasted yesterday. We have to find something to swallow today. Day spotted another area with his drone. There should be food in the mangroves over there. It's just a little far. I think it's worth taking a risk. I found lemons on the way there. This can provide a lot of nutrients that the body needs. There is no shortage of containers on the beach. He took it with him to pack food. Tak is now taking the raft to the mangroves. Besides worrying about sun exposure. And keep an eye out for sharks and crocodiles. I didn't think I'd run into him. I didn't realize there was one in the water. Fortunately, the other party did not come near. Or I'll let him know. What does it mean to be number 1 in the world? We reached the shore without incident. It's at low tide now. The raft must be tied up and not washed away. It looks like a cage around here. Tack's gonna break through and get inside now. There's plenty of room inside. Many fish are active in the water. I should still be able to feel the clams at the base. After some probing with both hands, that was a lot of food. Bee suddenly gave a laugh to give. That alone is worth coming by yourself. Put all the food in the basket. 26 clams. That's a pretty happy number. No more talking. Let's get back to cooking. It's a little tiring though, but you saw the clams roasting there. No matter how hard and tired it is. Dee takes out the roasted clams. Next, he's going to marinate it with lemon juice. Remember to get rid of the dirty water. Then you can squeeze the lemonade in. It's almost like raw marinating. It would be great if we could get more seafood. It takes about 2 hours to marinate. Take the time to find something to use. Wouldn't a fishing net like this make a hammock? Use the fire directly to break the long rope. On a wilderness expedition, sleep quality is more important than food. So even if the nets stink, Endo is happy lying on it. The thought of clams to eat later. The smile on his lips is even harder to suppress. After a period of waiting, I'm finally able to taste food. Clams soaked in lemon water. It doesn't taste sour at all, but it has a nice lemon smell. Master thinks it can be cured raw. If I could add chili and onions, it will definitely be more delicious. Real name recommended everyone to taste. The sun hasn't set yet. The master has already given himself a holiday. This is a life well lived. He began to wonder what the rest of his life would be like. In the next few days, Dee went back and forth between the rocky area and the mangrove area. Gather as much food as you can and bring it back. Before you know it, it's already the 9th day. The small life is very good. Tomorrow is the day to go home. Compare it to the previous challenge. Dee felt too easy this time. Not so much a challenge. More like a vacation. Iguana tracks were seen on the shore. I guess he just left a while ago. He's already thinking about how he's going to cook it when he catches it. I looked and looked everywhere in the neighborhood. Finally, iguanas were spotted in the trees. They like to wake up in the morning and bask in the sun. That has to do it before the iguana knows. Create a throwing net to catch. This is the first time he's shown it. Let's hope we catch them. Iguanas like to eat apricots. Dee looked everywhere for them. Soon found it by the barrel. The problem scares the iguana away before it even strikes. I don't think there's much chance of a roast. They didn't expect so much noise. Now, we can only hide and wait. Let's hope the iguanas come back. The wait wasn't easy. Fortunately, Dee had enough patience. Missed the net. Instead, the iguana was stunned. They just grabbed it with his bare hands. I really made myself laugh. Take the time to get rid of the iguana. Just hit the head with the rock. Well, I think is happy with the size. Deal with it as soon as you get back. It usually starts on the belly. I didn't expect to get a bunch of eggs. These must be delicious to cook. The iguanas have been skewered and set on fire. They didn't want to waste his time. The egg was to be boiled in plastic. Dude, really not worried about the plastic smell. The eggs are ready to cook, although the yolk is not very ripe. But it tastes really good. The mood is getting better and better. When I was eating barbecue, how can we be missing a drink? Fresh hand-squeezed lemon tea. Everything's ready. It's time for the roast. The iguana sheds its skin perfectly. Reward yourself with a leg first. The tip of my nose smelled of chicken. It's more like a chicken leg with your eyes closed. Dee ate that was very happy. Who can resist such a delicious taste? While I was enjoying the barbecue and a cup of lemon tea, I wish I could bring my family to experience a day like this. It's really comfortable. The challenge was a very good one, but soon came the day to leave. Got to go back home and see the kids. Some people are sure to ask why the challenge is longer. In fact, Dee also want to challenge the extension, but the battery is low. Alone in the wild. 10 days is not his limit. It's the limit of battery life. So the challenge of shooting yourself was really hard. I mean, I can still make a good living. That's a good thing to know. You don't know where the next challenge will go. Let's wait and see. They used to say to Yi starve 9 times in 3 days. But times have changed. Yi caught the small fish through the fish cage. I don't even have to clean my guts. Put it straight in your mouth. I didn't realize the crunch had a fishy taste. Of course, it's just a snack. He also caught a crocodile in a trap. Look at that white meat. You don't have to put anything on it. Respect for the meat is the original. The familiar chicken flavor and the laughter. There's dessert after the meal. Oh, this is so delicious. Man, it smells good across the screen. So, you don't think about going hungry. And now I'm going back to my old job. We'll face the harsh environment alone. 10 days in Colombian waters. I just got in here and I'm feeling really hot. It is said that there was a mountain fire a few days ago. It hasn't been extinguished yet. Dee felt it was very exciting. It's been a long time since I've eaten alone in the wild. The food here is very rich. To avoid being bitten by poisonous snakes, he put on his boots. I'm getting on in years, after all. Day is more concerned about safety now. The original copy starts upstream, but it's so dry out here. The water was so low that it was difficult for the boat to move. He chose Dee to go there. I really understand life more and more. Now you can see the fire in the distance. Farmers used to set fire to their grass at this time, but it's been so dry this year, causing the fire that was getting fiercer and fiercer. There's no way to put it out right now. You have to be careful in your own life. Otherwise, it won't look good on the hair. In addition to the basic survival gear, you don't need anything. Although said such a challenge, the Yi has attended many times. But every time I come here, it's very exciting. That was nothing at first sight. He has to get up high to know where to go, okay. Not so much on the prairie. It feels more like a desert. The package contained only filming equipment and a first aid kit. Nothing else is needed at all. The Yi can be said to be the first man to shoot the wilderness vlog. All kinds of lenses that's a handle. He was just about to jump into the challenge. I didn't think I'd run into a snake. This is going to be so delicious when you grill it. To give the audience a better view, put it straight on the stick and put it on the snake side. You can see it here. Apparently the fire drove them here. Too bad it's not time to cook. Or he's going to eat it. We're only an hour away from dark. Take the time to look at the rocks. Filming by drone. This looks really not easy. I'm exhausted just trying to get up here. Now look for a place to spend the night. So far, the forest is all right. It's just that the river is 10 kilometers away. It's a little closer to the left. Tak can see the fire in the distance now. Plus, the water runs out fast. He decided to take off the cactus and taste it. This is not like the jungle. Water is very scarce, so you can't miss a cactus. Just take the rock and throw it at it. You'll find the white flesh inside. It really doesn't taste good. It's just a little bit of hydration. Tak thinks it tastes like cucumbers. Bite after bite. Totally immersed in the food. Wait until it gets a little darker. The fire in the distance looked even more obvious. They didn't want to risk going into the jungle. Just stay where you are tonight. It's been a long time. He felt young again. You don't have to worry about catching cold. It feels like a furnace right now. After a night's rest. In good spirits. We're definitely going to the water source today. Just complained about how hot it was in here. Unexpectedly, a light rain began to fall. This is really not a script. Day didn't expect this either. The challenge suddenly increased a lot. This made him feel even more excited. We need to get out of here right now. Be very careful going down the rock face. If I fall on it, I can't handle my old back. Now it is raining lightly, and I feel very comfortable. There's a lot of food in the jungle. Flowers like this are pretty good. Oh, you're doing it again. The camera constantly shows delicious food to eat. Every now and then you can hear him laughing. What's interesting is there's feces not far ahead. It's been a while though, but he smelled it. You don't have to taste it to know it's a cougar. Hold the camera yourself. It's hard to get rid of them with one hand. Man, you can do it with your hands. The rain has stopped now. Dee thought it was too hot. The worst thing is that the wind changes direction. The fire is coming his way. Everywhere you go, nothing grows. Don't look like you've got some distance. If this wind were any stronger, I think I'm going to turn into a roast. Dee speed away from the fire. I've been on so many challenges. First time this close to a fire. The burning smells really bad. The animals around are also moving closer to the water. The flames blocked the path of the Yi. Just a little bit of a detour. Fortunately, there's a river here. There's a lot of fish waiting for him inside. The water is cold enough now. I can't wait to be immersed in water like this every day. Even the indigenous people drink from the water. It's not a problem for him. After a brief rest, I plan to swim down the river. The water is not flowing very fast now. If there's something to float on, it saves energy. It can also avoid being attacked by snakes in the water. Let's do it. Go ashore and start collecting materials. Stuff it all in the bag. Day was also very sweet to set the camera angle. Anyone else would have just walked away. It's nice to go down the river. He didn't forget to look around for food, did he? Palm fruit like this is good. Mainly eat the green flesh inside. It's a little bit like a kiwi. Sweet and sour like first love taste. You can collect more and eat on the way. After a short supply, we continue on our way. The tour alone takes about 4 hours. I feel like I'm getting fat down there. It's time to find a place to build shelter. There's a grilled fish buffet over here. You can put in your stomach on the hour. Fishing and catching are too inefficient. This is going straight to the whole fishing cage. It's going to be a bunch of them. You really just need your hands. Fishing cages are not difficult to weave. It's the familiar funnel type. You can't turn around once the fish come in. Well, it wouldn't be the first time I've done it, but it takes time to knit. That's a rough sketch in 6 hours. It's basically just weaving over and over again. Day was in a good mood and got abstract. It looks like it's getting dark soon. Have to find out where to sleep. After all, the water is next door. There must be animals roaming around at night. The best way is to surround it with thorny branches. I mean, it doesn't seem like much use, but at least we can block it. The Yi is confident in the shortest possible time. Don't ask, why so confident? Because his name is the Yi and he's not afraid of hunger. The only thing that makes me unhappy, I just didn't get the fishing gear. Or we can recreate fire worship tonight. It's a little different than the original plan. If it wasn't for the fire, he should have crossed the prairie long ago. Farther into the forest, I think. It's still too open. There are not many tall trees around. It's not a place for people to stay long. Before you know it, the third day has come. Dirt didn't get much rest last night. I've got bugs sticking to me all the time. After a simple wash, continued to finish the fishing cage. It also took a lot of time and effort. The finished product looks pretty good. We don't know if we're going to make it. The previous fruit would have been perfect for bait. It's sweet and sour and delicious. I don't think any fish would say no. Just stay still for a while. You can stop by then. About an hour or so, Yi picked up the fishing cage and found nothing. It was immediately clear that something was wrong. There must be something wrong, right? He's going to throw all the fruit in. The fish here are smaller. To this end, weeds are added as obstacles. However, after adjustment, it does not work. I don't even know if it's his fault. The mood is getting a little low. He thought it was a bad place to live. All we can do is get closer to the river. To avoid dehydration in the body, Master Da is going to leave at night. You don't really recommend going out in the dark. That's why I don't care about the animals around me. The sun was just getting ready to go home from work. Day's already packing up and walking through the jungle. You can see the jungle right over there. I'm confident we'll make it before nightfall. I had no problem walking all the way there. It just takes a little too much energy. He had to stop for a rest. Day thinks he's getting old. The shelter would have been ready a long time ago. Now, he was going to look at the trees. Here's the awkward part. The moon doesn't work at night. Right now, it's just the light from the camera. It's been a long time since Master Da traveled like this. I feel nervous and excited. It's been 4 hours today. He thought we should leave it at that. I sat down in a random place. I'm going to sleep here tonight. I am not the same as when I was young. In the past, it was just a matter of cutting to the chase. Now I prefer to plan before I act. I don't know what you think. Is the master becoming stable or becoming obedient? No matter what, he's confident of completing the challenge, right? Soon came the 4th day. I had a good night's rest. The stomach was already rumbling with hunger. He's going to see what the jungle has to offer. Every now and then you can hear a little ticking. When I looked over, it was a river. The fish in the water is big and beautiful. Yi felt that his happiness had returned. Under the give-and-take laughter, the cage is placed in the water again to wait for the fish. Since fruit can't be bait, let's replace it with a termite nest. Tak is confident he can get the fish back together. If this doesn't catch any fish, I'll eat the rest of the termites myself. Yi also found the local characteristic fruit. Good to eat is good to lose hair. He doesn't want to lose his hair. I'm going to process it into bowls. About an hour later, time to see how the fish cage is doing. Does anyone think there's fish in there to eat? I heard the laughter of the master. I'll know there's food. Don't look at all is a small one. It's enough for him to eat. I don't even have to cook it on fire. Just put it in your mouth and you're done. All of this adds up to about 10 grams. A little exercise will probably wear it out. Day thought the cage would last longer. I'm sure we'll get more fish. He wasn't content to eat it raw. Start gathering the ingredients for the fire to grill the fish. Although this wood is not suitable for drilling fire. But Yi thought of using the drawstring of his pants. A little bit of work will turn it into a bow drill. To avoid setting this place on fire, you must pay attention to the wind when building a fire. Can't light the rest of the place on fire. He built a little platform. That way the fire is much safer. Keep putting sand on top of the bark. Can effectively block the flame lattice. The water is next door. I can't imagine anything burning up, making a fire in such a dry environment. I mean, if I had hands, bring the flame and light it. It went a lot better than I thought it would. 2 more little fish from the cage. Just skewer them and cook them. The fish is getting better and better as it's roasted. Yi put the meat straight into his mouth. I couldn't help laughing. That's all crunched to the bone. The meat really gets better with each bite. I'm just curious. I didn't even gut him. Is there really nothing wrong with eating this way? That's how I'm going to show it off anyway. What you need to survive in the wild right now. He already has it all. Then you can enjoy it. Soon came the 5th day. Yi did not sleep very well. Because I was happy to eat fish all night. He thinks he'll catch the fish later. The whole person that is very excited. Master Da cracked open the hair loss fruit. Take the shell and use it as a container. I'm sure some people would say it's fine. He says he still has some hair. Only a smart person can see it. The shell needs to be burned with charcoal. Not only to ensure that after use without hair loss, it can also be reinforced to make it more durable. It doesn't look like much on the surface, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's not so much just fish. I want you to see what you can eat around here. Just arrived to explore the neighborhood. I saw cashews down there. Look around for a bunch of them. And there's plenty of fresh on the tree. The stomach can't stand eating it raw. It's better if it's lightly roasted and sautéed. If you're as good as Dirk, what's the big deal about eating it raw? It was just a little numb for a while. The fire is burning to coals. Just put the cashews on for a while. I'll get a lot of strength back. Yi also found earthworm droppings lying around. See that smile on his face? I knew the worm was going to suffer. You just dig and you get a big worm. Just squeeze the dirty stuff out of it. Isn't that a prime steak for Durham? You don't even have to clean the dirt off it. Just put it in your mouth and chew. Instantly feel a fishy smell rush to the forehead. The dirt must be removed from it. Otherwise, it's really hard. It does look a little gross. You'll know when you put it in your mouth. This will make it even more disgusting. Even a top foodie thinks it's bad. You can imagine how bad it is. To get the stink out of my mouth. Keep cracking open the cashews and chewing them in your mouth. Instantly feel the mouth is fragrant. I usually sleep on the floor. It's time for me to reward myself with a bed. He needs to lie down and rest too. This is the most comfortable place to drive around. Just put poles between the trees. Form a triangular bed. It must be nice to lie on. Let's do it. Let's do it. You don't need a knife. It can break branches easily with its weight. It's too fragile. He's going to need some stronger branches. Using stones and branches to form an axe. Finally, it is fixed with vines. Although it doesn't look very sharp, but it hit the top pretty good. You can get it off like this. There are no problems other than tiredness. I work from morning till night. Finish the moment comfortable. It's really nice to lie on. If we put it on the roof again, he feels like he can stay here for the last month. But the happiness did not last long. There was a violent noise during the night. Scared Yi to look around. Maybe it's a mountain lion delivering food. I really don't want to eat barbecue. Come over for dinner next time. Dirg's been in this place for 6 days. Wake up to roasted cashews. And a whole glass of cashew juice. This is so much better than the fried bean milk. The little days are getting more and more comfortable. I think it feels good. He left a camera nearby to shoot. Check back tomorrow and see if anything wakes up. I mean, there's food on this side of the cage. But that's not enough. To improve the efficiency of exploration, he chose technology directly to change his life. Using drones to find food to eat. Oh my God, I got a lot of tech on him. He found a swamp over there. The food resources must be much better than here. Master Da is going over there tomorrow. I recovered the drone and started eating again. The ripe fruit is sweet. The thought it was better than candy. Immediately gather some more for tomorrow. The challenge continues on the 7th day. Tack, look at the camera. What do you see? I don't think I felt anything. It was supposed to be just another day. I didn't think a cougar was actually coming. Yi was suddenly amused. I don't know if this is going to end up on a sewing machine. The fire drove the animals in. It's especially dangerous to travel at night. People still have to be careful. Unless you have the strength of day. Maybe you should just hit the like button. Get to the swamp while you can. Everything's burned clean. It's the riverside that's protected. I was going to say there's going to be a lot of animals. I didn't expect to find a turtle. If not the law protects it, I would have cooked it myself. My mouth is almost watering. There's really a lot of food around, but most of them are protected by law. I mean, I really want to be an outlaw fanatic. Those are very rare delicacies. He's going to set a trap for the crocodile. Like here the stream is so wide. Crocodiles like to come out of here. I want you to give me a noose trap over here. The success rate must be very high. Add small fish as bait. Day felt the alligator meat in his mouth. The trap wasn't too complicated this time. Using the saplings as springs. Once the crocodile touches, you're going to hold it up high. You can eat whatever you want then. The noose must be made strong to make sure it bounces back fast enough. He also treated the surrounding area. Add a perimeter fence for guidance. I'm sure the crocodiles will eat when they come. Can't imagine any reason to fail. It was a joyful laugh. He's thinking about going back to the whole grill. For Yi, wilderness survival challenges are the process of constantly surpassing yourself. No matter how many times it's challenged. I'm still as excited as I was the first time. I wish I could keep doing this until I can't. The challenge continued on the 8th day. First thing I do when I wake up is check for traps. It rained a little last night. I don't think it's going to affect the gators. Suddenly I saw a situation at the trap. Oh my God, I really caught him. Even though there's no knife in his hand. But with a crocodile this small, just pinch it with your hands. Use sharp branches and stones. He sent the gator away in a flash. Durham's hands were shaking with excitement. Long lost barbecue freedom. He wants to eat the meat before it stinks. Using small stones to make axes for cutting. It's more of a smash than a chop. The drier he gets in the rain, the happier he gets. He's confident he'll finish the crocodile later. White flour meat, who see not confused. Cooked directly on the fire. The more roast the meat, the better. The smile on his lips was unbearable. This is the right way to open for wilderness survival. Crocodile meat that's really sweet. No seasoning at all. The meat alone overwhelms the taste buds. Except for the familiar chicken smell. There's a hint of umami from the fish. Yi felt that the challenge had been met. Leave the fish in the cage for the right people to eat. He also made his own fig jam to accompany the cashews. The level of happiness that is straight full. If only the challenge were longer. Yi thought he could eat better. The adventures of youth. Compare that to the current adventure. Although he is old, but the experience and the process. It's really very enjoyable. Yi Real name recommend everyone to come and experience. Maybe it's old age. It's really easier to get sentimental than ever. Most of life now is ups and downs, but there's a lot to learn from it. Experience all kinds of different feelings. I'll dry up this chicken soup. Feel free. Before you know it, the 10th day has come. Yi is in a very excited mood. It's not just crocodile meat. Because the rain put out the fire. Things are looking up. Reward yourself with a bath. Well, I guess I like being around here. Happy time is always so short. It's time to go home again. Enjoy the natural scenery while walking. Soon came to the appointment of the boat home. I wonder where Yi will venture next. Let's wait and see. This may be the first time Yi has been out in the wild. Show different cooking skills. No spices were added. You didn't even get the guts out. Just put it on the moss. I thought it was doing the whole thing. I didn't expect to find a good fish. The laughter never stopped. Wouldn't steamed fish taste better if you didn't gut it? Have any of the lads tried? Why don't you tell us how it tastes? In the past, Yi went to participate in the challenge. You don't even have to wear that. Not even the hair. But this time, to Jilin Changbai Mountain. Wrap yourself up that is warm. Yi knows this weather. Hypothermia can be deadly in the wild. This is not the first time to come to China to challenge. Mandarin is pretty standard. The next 10 days to is here. He got stuck in the snow as soon as he entered the replica. It's up to the waist now. I wonder if any local friends have seen Yi. The temperature in the mountains is quite low. I feel my face being scratched by the wind. Everywhere is covered with snow. Yi is going to show you how to live in the cold. The clothes on his back were enough for him. I just don't want the cold to affect the camera. This is going to freeze and it's going to be over. He also packed a blizzard survival kit. That's enough to hold out for a few days if you're stuck. The old rule is to let the drones find the way first. It's the only thing Tak had on him. It is doubtful whether the challenge will be met. This is not a very high altitude. It's just that the weather changes very quickly. This snowstorm is like a girlfriend. It's coming faster than a book. There's a Siberian tiger hanging out here. I can't beat him. Scolding words, opposite and don't understand. Let's just hope it doesn't eat imported meat. Tak has had frostbite before, so face the cold especially serious. But the scene was harder than expected. The snow is falling harder and harder. If you can't ensure the temperature, I'm afraid I'll be able to eat twice cooked pork soon. That is going to make a snow cave. Friends who often play in the snow know that. It was really warm in there. Yi is already showing off his hole-making skills. Just a thermal and a windbreaker. What will happen in the short term? Hurry up and finish this snow cave. And put branches around it for support. After all, there are no tools to bring. It can only be done with sticks and hands. The amount of energy expended, that's an exaggeration. The sweat turned into ice before it had time to evaporate. The body is feeling cold. It took a lot of time and effort for Da to build it. Now it's going to take hours for it to set. Use this time to gather firewood for snowshoes. I really don't want to get caught up in it after a few steps. Use your weight to your advantage. Can easily break small trees. Master Da feels so good. He needs to find the Y-wood. Something like this is perfect for snowshoes. Put parallel bars along this spot. Add the surrounding vines for fixing. Yi thought he could do it again. Taste a little snow when you're thirsty. It'll relieve the dehydration a little bit. Eating too much isn't just bad for your stomach. It also takes away a lot of heat from the body. Day was worried about frostbite. It looks pretty solid over there. Try to start digging. I feel a little numb from the shock. It must be strong enough. The storm didn't last long. We got to get this over with. Dirt worked hard for 2 hours. There's a place to sit inside. It feels so good now. At least you don't have to endure the cold covered in snow. To keep your ass warm. And I got spruce branches for bedding. I think Dad is happy with this place. It would be nice to have a fire when you get a chance. After layers of paving. Finally able to sit down and make snowshoes. Anyone who likes to watch man in the wild knows that. It's not hard to make. It's just a simple combination. The most important thing is to tie it tight. It'd be embarrassing if it fell apart halfway through. There's one good thing about working in there. You can get some snow to eat when you're thirsty. The Yes fingers are even warm now. The mood is so good. I feel like I could pop the champagne halfway through. Don't you know what's around to eat? Snowshoe manufacturing speed that is very fast. We can take it outside and experience it. I think these snowshoes are really comfortable. Make a happy giving sound. Hurry up and get the other one. Make sure you stick sticks in it before it gets dark. Make sure it's not too closed in. This ensures both ventilation and warmth. The backpack can also be used as a door. Yi took off his boots to disperse berry. Frostbite from snow challenges before. The situation is very bad. The doctor almost cut it off. It took 3 surgeries back and forth to fix it. He doesn't want to go through that again. As long as you're not directly barefoot on the ground. We need shelter on the first day. He thought it was a success. Then we'll see how we get the food. Okay, This one was too excited to sleep when he lay down. Try to wake up early and venture into the neighborhood. Soon came the next day. Day woke up feeling good. The temperature is rising now. There are little raindrops above the snow hole. You wouldn't dare stay in there. Get your snowshoes on and head somewhere else today. Plus the weight of the backpack. I don't feel tired walking at all. It's just walking a little slower. But it's better than getting stuck in the snow. The more you walk, the stronger you get. He loves simple, easy-to-use gadgets like this. Soon we're on this side of the jungle. It all looks the same around here. Yi found no trace of animals. Serious suspects are in hiding and hibernating. It's hard to get something to eat in these conditions. What about going down the hill? Let's hope we find something to eat. With less and less snow, the surrounding sounds become richer. They not only heard the water, and I found out there's a delivery tower. Little pine nuts like these taste really good. It restores a lot of energy in an instant. Too few to fill the stomach. And it takes a lot of effort to get it out. Tak thought he could collect more to take away. And a little snack on the way. With the river. I'm finally able to keep my fluids up. And just walk down here. It's definitely getting wider and wider. Maybe we'll catch some fish then. So far, so good. Look at the map from the drone. The resources behind it are only going to grow. He's a good hunter. But hunting is not allowed here. All he could do was look at it. But it's good to see animals. Prove you're not looking in the wrong direction. I'm sure there's something to eat down there. Now the most satisfied is the snowshoes. To be able to walk on snow. As it gets darker and darker, Tak had to stop and build a shelter. There's no time to make a snow cave. For the great gods, the tree well can also be. It's different from the traditional one. Die adjusts according to the state of the branches. Take the least amount of time and effort to complete. Shake the snow off first. I almost buried the camera. Now the tree well can be dug out. Drop the branches as you dig. It's like a little tent. It's not that hard to set up. It's just that moving materials is really tiring. Long tree poles form a bed, so I don't have to lie on the floor. It also allows the cold air to settle down. He thinks he's really smart. It's like lying on a bed of nails. If you want to get comfortable, I could use some spruce branches on the surface. Comfort level that is instantly pulled full. Except for the lack of covers. It really doesn't feel worse than a hotel. That's a long way to go today. It's a little too much energy. But overall, it went well. Pine nuts to eat and water to drink. We'll just see if we can get food tomorrow. 40E. Wild survival challenges in the cold. It's a lot more dangerous than other places. One mistake could put your life in danger. So we have to be extra careful. Before you know it, it's the third day. Besides being a little hungry, the thought it went well this time. Real name recommend you come to build this way. Just the clothes I'm wearing to keep me warm. It's nice to lie in too. Now he had to put on his snowshoes and move on. Our goal today is to start a fire and grill some fish. Soon Yi came to the ice area. Although it's easy to break your back when you slip, but walking speed is much better. Just stand on the brown ice. I'm sure you don't have to worry about falling in. I even found one to show it to you. Try to stay away from these places. It's safest to get off the ice faster. It took a lot of time and effort. It was a smooth ride to the edge. Just a crack in the ice on this side. I can't guarantee it's hard enough. When you walk on it, there's a rattling sound. Walking slowly and fearfully. Luckily, there were no accidents, okay. Master Dick can finally breathe a sigh of relief. The gap on this side is more pronounced. Let's take a look up the hill. Nearby vegetation that is becoming more and more. Some snow is already melting. It's not good to be wet. Tak needs to find a good place to camp. It's not easy to live in this wet and cold environment. What's the point of worrying? Or how about looking at the river? It's wide enough to mean you can catch fish. It looks like it's getting dark soon. Dirt wishes he had a fire tonight. It must be hard to start a fire with a drill. The only good news is that the firewood is dry. I'm sure there's no problem burning. Yi began to try to drill wood for fire. The effect is worse than expected. Not a single ash came out. Can only keep grinding out ashes. Then put in the hay and blow on it. With the blessing of Lord does fire worship. Finally, successfully lit the fire. It can now be transferred to the platform. You don't have to worry about it getting cold tonight. The joy of God that is back. It's been a long time since I've had the pleasure of building a fire. Still familiar, give, laugh. But you have to keep collecting firewood and adding it. Fire can be used in the wild. What a happy thing it is. I can't wait to jump in and dance. It's a lot wetter than I thought. Throw as much firewood on it as you can. You don't have to worry about it going out at night. If I could get 4 or 5 of my best friends over, the little days will be more prosperous. The fire burned until dawn. That's a good sleep for Da. It's just that my belly is a little immature. All in all, it was a good life. Explore your surroundings today. Gather as many materials as you can. Where's a good place to build a shelter? Walk along the river. The ice is not as safe as it seems. It could break at any moment. They didn't want to risk walking on it. Just wrap it around a little bit to make it thicker. Now you can tap it and see. The sound tells me it's not solid, so try to avoid standing on the edge. The body must spread its weight, then slowly lean on the top to drink water. You can see the thickness of the ice. It's hard for Day to get a drink of water. After rehydrating, look for food nearby. Suddenly, there are otter tracks on the ground. There are traces of other animals next door. Some leftover fish heads were found not far ahead. This is clearly the area where they move. I don't think he'd have brought it home and cooked it. Now he is more about enjoying nature. Since otters can catch fish to eat, I'm sure I can get food myself. The mood is getting better and better. It's a different challenge than any other. Trying to fit in here, we must make good use of the advantages of water. But now is the time to build a shelter. This time we're going for the classic slope. You just put a big bar on it. Then put the tree trunks diagonally in a row. It'll be warm up front with the fire. You don't have to worry about getting covered in snow. I have to say that the yi is really good. I've been starving for days, and I still have the strength to build. If it were me, I'd feel dizzy. It took a lot of time and energy for to get the basic framework in place. Now, all you need to do is lay the spruce branches on top. Just make sure there are no gaps. Day was kind enough to put a tree trunk on it. He didn't believe it could be blown away. In the process of collecting materials, I didn't expect a surprise. A little piece of honey is wonderful. Don't look at the amount of energy you get, but this sugar intake makes you feel so happy. Survival in the wild is full of surprises. Continue collecting materials to take back to the shelter. I want to be comfortable here. It is necessary to stockpile large amounts of firewood every day. Make sure the fire lasts all night. Although I say that the Lord's body is very tired, but in his mental state he was particularly optimistic. He found life quite comfortable. If only the wife and son were here. It would be nice to have the whole family starve again. He made himself a bed. You can't love a bed of hay. It's standard at the Wilderness Hotel. Been busy for so long. At last, Master Do was able to lie down and rest. I recommend you all to try this. He didn't say that for effect. The bed is really comfortable. After a short break, I'm starting to get my energy back. He's going to grind the pine nuts into powder. It just takes a lot of beating with a rock. To the surprise of the Yi. Why is that wind blowing in your face? The problem is not very big. Just wait for the wind to die down. The pine nuts have all been pulled down. The next step is to grind it into powder. It's just a little tiring. The Yi decided to chew it straight in his mouth. You can't eat enough of them. I wonder if he just swallowed it. It is much faster than manual work. Day was challenging people to see some places. And chewed and processed like he did. The bad part is it hurts when you chew too much. The finished product looks too much to describe. Then all you have to do is roll them into little balls and bake them over the fire. Soon this pine cake is done, although there are no eggs in it. But the scent of the pine nut itself. It tastes so good. They thought it was better than his wife's cooking. The missus has to see that. After eating and drinking, it was time to rest again. It's been quite a day. Keep at this pace. 10 days is no big deal. It's highly recommended to wait 100 days. Just in time for a break and a chance meeting with Dirt. Day is actually pretty tired, but he remained upbeat in front of the camera. Faced challenges positively. Before I knew it, it was the 5th day. Yi woke up to find that the snow had covered all around it. But there's nothing going on at the shelter. It turns out the structure is really good. The more I look, the more I like it. It's not as strong as the start. We're going to the water source today. I hope I catch a fish to eat. All you need in the wild is some bark for fishing line. Try it a little. I knew it wouldn't be easy. There's no usable material around. There was no choice but to take out the first aid kit. This bandage inside serves as fishing line, and the pins are used for fishing hooks. The quality of the bandages is very good. Just take it off and use it. It worked even better than expected. Soon a fishing line came out. Fish hook that's even easier. Just a little twist and you're done. It was a little rough, but Yi is confident that he can catch fish to eat. Soon he was ready. I saw the sable over there looking at the. Hunting is definitely not hunting. Watch it come alive over here. There must be food around. Yi was very excited about it. Get over there and do some ice fishing right now. Be safe, even if you're in a hurry. Start by clearing the surrounding snow with branches, and then hit the ice with a tree pole. There's always a vulnerable spot. This will allow the line to be lowered. The ice wasn't as thick as you thought. The master can only slowly close to the layout. If nothing else, there will be an accident. It's really not for the show. Now I need to get back to dry. Otherwise, the cold will freeze you out. The limbs were beginning to stiffen. He was going to throw all the firewood into the fire. The key is to take your clothes off. There's only one light jacket left to wear. The wind is still blowing. It's so cold down there I can barely feel it. Fortunately, the weather did not get worse. After a period of drying, I finally felt a little more comfortable. The worst part is the boots. It's soaking wet inside. The outside is being scorched and melted. Turns out you can't relax in the wild. The slightest mistake can get you killed. Until the sun was about to set. I just put my clothes back on. The mood is awful. If possible, I don't want to venture out on that ice again. Now he's either warming himself or collecting firewood. At least you don't have to worry about getting cold tonight. What about the trap? If I could eat a whole fish tomorrow, the body is sure to recover well. Yi entered the dream with good expectations. The challenge came on day 6. Yi has adjusted his mood. Although life doesn't always go your way, but I have a feeling I'm going to get something to eat, even if there's nothing. Day himself could have done the challenge by starving himself. Time to take a look at the line. Back to where we fell yesterday. We have to be very careful this time. Check the line and head back. The first trap didn't turn up anything. Temperament that's a little down. The other one was never caught. Seriously suspect the otters killed the fish. On the 7th day, Yi came to check again. I can't believe he actually caught me. Such a fish is enough to feed itself. Take it back and clean it up. Fish used to be grilled and eaten. This time, Mr. is going to try steaming it. It will bring out the freshness of fish better than grilled fish. That's where the moss comes in. At least big enough to wrap the fish around. Put these in the water and wash them. Then you can spread the moss over the coals. Finally, put the fish away. What's interesting is that Day didn't handle the fish. It's cooked just like that. I'm just curious. Wouldn't it look fishy? Under the moss that Day keeps adding. Finally got the fish wrapped up. It takes about half an hour to steam. Time that is passing very quickly. Time to see how the fish is doing. Peel off the skin to reveal the tender flesh. This is totally different from what's baked. The laughter never stops in front of the camera. I don't know how to describe it. It was delicious anyway. That smile on his mouth that can't be held back. If I could eat this fish every day, he was willing to fall into the water again. After a good meal, the master was very comfortable. Don't look like you're having a good time. If you live here long term, Yi was not sure he could stay. Anyway, it was a pretty satisfying day, you know? The next few days, Yi also successfully caught fish. See more animals appear. Day was enjoying his time in the wild. As much as I'd like to stay that way, but I have to return to my family life. It's been a long time since I've been with my family. Before you know it, the 10th day has come. The ice here has started to melt. Clean this up before you leave. After a busy time, it's time to evacuate to the rendezvous point and head home. Yi thought it was a good challenge. I'm just a little down in the water. I don't know where I'll go next. Let's wait and see. They say Dirk goes hungry 9 times in 3 days. Now he rewards himself with a meal every 3 days. Using homemade rope to create a trap. It was easy to get a rabbit. Grill and brush your teeth in the morning. I thought I was on vacation. This rabbit is just an appetizer. He's also addicted to homemade bows and arrows. We made the whole thing ourselves. Lick it out slowly with your hands and mouth. He even broke the quiver. Enough to kill a bird. At night, I cooked a roast for myself. On days like this, the meat goes up a few pounds. Dai's trip to the Namibian wilderness. It's notoriously hot and dry. It's not the first time I've done this, though. But you can still feel the excitement in your body. Soon the plane will land. Tack had already arranged for the vehicle to go to the starting point. Now you can see the surroundings are empty. It's hard to get enough to eat here. Starvation says it's reconnecting. Upon arrival at the destination, Tack started taking his shirt off. If it wasn't for the reduced coating work, he even thought about doing a naked challenge. The bag is full of photography treasures. Old rule, let the drone explore first. Where can I find some good food? And suitable places to camp for the night. So far, the rocks to the south are better. There is no time for hesitation. Grab your bag and go over there right now. Tell me about the most famous local specialty. It has to be a crackling snake. They say men can't stop eating. They decided it was time to make up for it. Walking in the bushes. Still have to be aware of your surroundings. If I'm not careful on the snake kiss, well, congratulations on spiraling up in place. I didn't expect to see an antelope on the road. Had it not been for starvation, I'm sure the deuce would have gone for it by now. Another feature of this side is that it's full of thorns. I remember the taste of stewed pork with rot tan as a child. The most important thing now is to find shade. Day doesn't want to tan here. I never stop sweating. You can imagine how hot it is in here. And rhinos as neighbors. To avoid getting your ass kicked in the middle of the night, the shelter has to be high up. In fact, these are small problems. If you want to survive in the wilderness, water is the priority. You can't survive 3 days without food, without the protection of shoes. It's like walking on an iron pan. Day can even smell the barbecue. Right now it's going to be 44 degrees. Without air conditioning, it really breaks down. Good thing there's a shady place to rest up ahead. I think I can get a little reprieve. We don't know if we'll find water before dark. Now we have to wait for the sun to cool down. He doesn't want to pass out on the floor with heat stroke. There are signs of animal activity on this side of the cave. Looks like this bone's been around for a while. There's just one air-dried hide we can use. Congratulations to Dashi on a pair of real shoes. It's just that the hide is dry and hard now. It's not going to be easy to unfold. Day's little head suddenly lit up, just enough to pee on it. When it softens, you can wear it as a shoe. For the success of this challenge, Dai also studied with the local natives. Roots like this have a lot of water in them. Just dig like he did. I'll have this baby in no time. Local kids drink it as a drink. You just squeeze it and you get a lot of juice. It tastes really good. It's like potato juice. Ideal for drinking on an empty stomach. The hides are almost there. Yi began to prepare the cutting tools. All you have to do is break the basalt into a thin slice. That's enough edge to cut through the hide. First, determine the size of the shoes, and then you can mark it and cut it out. It's a little tricky to deal with though, but it's faster with shoes. The point is not to waste your urine. It took a while to get the soles out. Originally thought the master would make it smoothly. I didn't realize he had 2 right feet. For now, I'll have to make do with it. The only problem is the skin. I'm afraid I'm going to stew my feet. That's how we're going to rest for the day. When I woke up the next day, Durham's throat is very dry. It really needs a little water before the sun fully comes out. Find a water source nearby. You need a lot of it every day. We'll have to start a fire and boil it. The good news is seeing animal waste. Proof that there must be a water source around. Why else would there be so much poop on the road? Master Da walked slowly past, smelling the fragrance. I suddenly found that this rock is not ordinary. Apparently made from rabbit feces and urine. We can get some noose traps in the back for bunnies. There are many animal trails nearby. If there's no water here, I just ate it. The birds around it are unusually active. Observe your surroundings carefully. I didn't know there was water to drink. Only the water is full of larvae and germs. It is too thirsty. Just hit the water with your hands and drink. I hope you don't have diarrhea later. I was having a good time anyway. Master Da is going to camp nearby for the night. Hurry up and get your bags and move. We know animals in the neighborhood go to the water source, so you have to have a good fire at night. I'm collecting materials here, too. Trying to make the drill and fire early. There are still plenty of caves around. After the constant observation and comparison of Yi, finally chose to spend the night here. There's still a lot of human activity on it. The shit they left behind was just what they needed. This is no time for sightseeing. Hurry up and build the fire starter. A dry environment like this. It's a handle to make a fire for Dirk. It took a few moments to light the fire. Let out a chuckle of delight. He was bringing his luggage over. I found raspberries here by accident. I didn't expect food so soon. Can make the body supplement a lot of nutrients. There's a lot more ripe on the tree. I'm happy to think about it. If you eat it with meat, that little life will be comfortable. Now, he wants to cool down first. Get your shoes done while you can. Actually, it's pretty much done. Now we just have to tie it off. The hide can be strung across in strips. Then tie it around your feet. The finished product looks pretty good. The other side did the same. Yi is very pleased with the shoes. Head over to the bunnies now. If there's any sign of freshness, I could have set more traps myself. Try to eat a rabbit every day. Too bad there's no trace around. He wondered if he was wrong. It took hours. Not until dark. There's no choice but to go back and rest. I hope the rabbits come out tomorrow. This can also have some emotional impact. Yi quickly adjusts good state. He must hurry to his dream meal. And so the challenge came to day 3. I don't know if I ate too many raspberries. Again, because of the water. The stomach does not feel very comfortable. Either way, it's bad for the body. There are no containers for boiling water. Just keep rehydrating despite the risks. Eat some protein along the way. The thought the water was fine. He still wants to hunt for food. So many birds and antelopes around. Well, I guess I should catch something to eat. The locals use tiger's tail plants to make ropes. If you can find it, you can even try making bow hunts. There's quite a few over here. Cut it off and take it back now. Dury is confident he'll get the rope out. After the plant is mashed, you can squeeze out the fibers. These are to be woven into ropes, whether to build a trap or a bowstring. Both are a good choice. The locals rub on their legs. The rope made that way is fast and good. It's a pity that this head is bare. He didn't want to get his legs waxed. We're going to use this as a noose trap. I hope the rabbits like jumping in. You don't need a knife to get sharp parts. The trap Mr. Derg set was simple. It's basically a stick. Wait for the rabbit to touch the rope. The stone will fall down immediately. A little snack before we set it up. This little lizard is really good. After the internal organs are cleaned, it goes straight to the mouth. Crunchy, with a hint of sauerkraut. It's a good way to get rid of cravings. Now you can set up traps nearby. I guess this is the way to go. As long as the rabbits don't move away. I'm sure I can get my own meat. For this reason, they deliberately blocked both sides. The only way it can go is if it waits to be eaten. Dai was worried and made several more. If you can't eat this, I'm afraid I'm going to have to call myself starving. Go back to the shelter and get some rest. Look forward to what happens at the trap tomorrow. Soon came the 4th day. The first thing Yi does when he wakes up is look at the trap. I'm pretty confident about my traps. Suddenly, you see something. Yi immediately rushed up to check. I never thought I'd catch a rabbit. The size looks really good. enough to feed himself. I'm sure people ask, is this good? Look at that smile on my face. I knew it would be good. I wonder when you caught him. It's perfect for cooking now. Start with a light roast in the morning. Cut with stone first. Then you can pull the meat off without a hitch. Be careful with the internal parts when handling them. If this breaks, it will contaminate the meat. You end up with the meat. Let's cook the innards first, even without any seasoning. It tastes so good. It tastes better than normal meat. This is the right way to open for wilderness survival. Dude, I don't even go hungry anymore. Turned into a 3-day whole roast. Really is over the more moist. The rabbit is slowly cooked over a charcoal fire. The sound of grease dripping is really nice. After an hour of burning, just finally getting to eat rabbit. It's a lot more delicious than I thought. Just a little bit less fat on top. A little bit of wood to chew on. This would be perfect if I could get a Coke. You don't know how to describe it. It's only been 3 days. Day has done everything. He thought he could try something else, like painting on a rock wall. When future generations come to explore this area, you'll know how good your life is. But now I'd rather make my own bow and arrow. I was looking for a tree to make a bow out of. I didn't expect to find anything on the ground. The bone has decayed properly. The upper sinews can be used with a little treatment. Definitely better for a bowstring than a rope. The branches around here are pretty tough. Just cut it down and adjust it. A little bit of pulling is enough to bend. Then clean the surface. It can be polished with sand and stone to remove thorns. The most important step is to remove the water by heating it. It's the only way to make it strong. Yi thought he was doing well. The tendons can be treated while the bow is cooling. Just pull it off first. It takes a mouth to make this bow perfect. Use saliva to moisten it. Easy to string by hand. It just doesn't taste very good. Weave the sinews slowly. Such work is tedious and time-consuming. I admire the guy who thought of it first. After constant adjustment and modification by Yi, finally got the bow out. I know how much this is worth. Master was quite pleased with the new bow. You can take it back to the kids. It's getting a little easy now. They didn't want to finish the challenge like that. It's going to have to be some work. Do you have any good suggestions for Master? I guess there's no job to bite a lighter. It's better than talking to yourself on camera all the time. If you don't know, you think you're mentally ill. The challenge is on its 5th day. Duri wants to go hunting with a bow and arrow. He's already looking forward to the day the barbecue is free. How about we check out the trap first? Hyena activity was spotted on the road. That's pretty close to the rabbits. Looks like I have some competition. I got nothing out of that trap today. Just drink some water for protein first. It's not bad when you get used to it. Yi is a little curious what animal is coming. I hope this is a wake-up call. Hyenas are somehow affecting the traps. Actually, Dai really wants to taste dog meat. They just show up in teams. If you can't kill him with one shot, it's really easy to get bitten in hand-to-hand combat. Now he's making bows and arrows to defend himself. Feathers play a key role. There's really a lot of animal activity around here. Master wasted no time to finish the arrow. The initial steps are pretty much the same as before. The only difficulty is getting it straight. This will break with a little pressure, so be very careful. With a big wrench like Master, bend it again and you'll straighten it out. The arrow is hardened. It's very hard now. And I don't forget to show off my abs for the camera. It looks like it was printed. The tail of the arrow should have grooves for feathers. Cut the feathers like day. Then it can be tied to it. Be careful with the feathers. Squashed and wasted. The finished product looks pretty good. What happened on the hunt? All ready. Find a target and practice your archery skills. The shot worked better than expected. Every now and then you can hear a chuckle. Take another look at the trap. Hope to have a different surprise. The view here is really nice. I'm afraid I'm going to make a leap of faith. He'd like to have his family over for a holiday if he gets the chance. Shada said no, not at all. The challenge is on its 6th day. Yi took up a bow and arrow and tried to hunt birds. There's no reason to go hungry with so much food around. Tread carefully into active areas. And walked around a few times. I didn't even get a chance. Not with an arrow in your mouth all the time. You know, I think they likes to interact with people. So get back to making the quiver. The locals will use tree roots for processing. Yi also tried to dig up to see. About 30 centimeters. There's just a lot of rocks down there. Dirk had better luck. Dig too and look for roots. Took the rock and threw it at it. It took a lot of work to get it. I feel like I can just use it. I'll process it as soon as I get it back. First pull the skin off the sides. Then we can find a hole to bury it in. Remove the tree core by heating it. It looks like you're using an oven. The process takes about 2 hours. Now we can dig it out. The surface is not burnt. And then it's a miracle. Under the continuous efforts of Yi, finally got the core out of the tree. The quiver is even more perfect than I thought. Can't wait to get more arrows in there. Finally just wrap the bottom with the hide. After some tinkering, Yi became a full-time archer. This quiver can also be used as a container. I'll take it home to my son. Happy to think we can hunt together one day. The son is fed well every day. I'm sure I'll be hungry in the future. There's nothing left here. Okay. Take all your luggage and move on to the next place. If it's not filming, I should have an easier time. I think it would be better to find a photographer. Can save a lot of energy. It doesn't really matter if there's food right now. I can starve myself to the end anyway. What do you see on the camera? He figured only a few birds would come. I didn't realize there was a gazelle to drink from. Maybe we can hunt and just eat before we leave. I'm just going to stay here and wait. Always waiting for the moment to drink water. Oh my God, I don't think I'm going to eat meat again. There's a flock of pearl birds right up ahead. Dee gave it a try. It's still a long way off. I'm never going to get a chance to hit again. Can't see anything at night. Building a fire will scare the animals away. Only to wake up early and crouch for water. The challenge came on the 7th day. It was still dark, and Lord Doe was ready. Usually a lot of animals come to drink. Don't know why you don't come when you are here. He's going round to the pearl birds to hunt. It was a good idea, but when Yi came, all I see here is feces. I'm still too late. Just a little raspberry for a little comfort. Day is patient enough to wait for his prey. Just wait till the pearl birds get back to rest. Pull up the bow, an arrow, and you get one. It went better than I thought. Reward yourself with a roast bird that night. It turns out it's impossible to starve yourself. Yi has the confidence to eat and drink well anywhere. Now the mood is so good. The fly in the ointment is that the challenge time is a little short. I feel like I can last the last month. Hunt for food with homemade bows and arrows. There's nothing more handsome than that, right? Every mouthful is a happy juice. If only I could eat one every day. Unfortunately, these days are coming to an end. Not yet to hunt another one. He said he was going home for dinner. This challenge is very meaningful to me. Not just local survival techniques. I could use it to get food, and I don't know where he'll go next. Are you sure you don't want to keep starting online the whole time? Ed Stafford's recipe is finally getting an update. Is catching fish so easy these days? You can throw it around and eat it whole. Look at this white tender, who see love. And there's plenty of fruit to eat. Ed Stafford's favorite nut is the dung nut. It really smells like nature. This time, Ed Stafford came to Namibia for a holiday. We saw crocodiles on the road in the beginning. I really want to be the world's first wild mouth. Ed Stafford sees this delicious. The saliva is almost left behind. Besides crocodiles, there are many other animals that can fight hand to hand. Ed Stafford also talked to local natives. The best thing here is catfish. It's easy to run into hippos. I want to fill my stomach here. Ed Stafford felt as easy as going to buffet. There's so much food in the water. He began to look forward to the situation on land. Packed only the bare necessities. It's not hard to spend 10 days in the wilderness. You'll need some luck if you want to live well. Ed Stafford wants to show you. Even if there's nothing, clothes to your hands and head, and a good life in the wild. Now the best route is to follow the river, so you don't have to worry about water. It also has access to areas where food is plentiful. It would be nice to have a little fish. A hippopotamus can often be seen strolling across the street. Ed Stafford is curious too. What does hippo taste like? It's a little hard to do with your hands. Better be able to keep your weapon on the line. Old rule, drone first. Know the enemy's position in advance and be prepared. There's a herd of hippos right up ahead. I'm sure I'll get crushed if I just walk there. The best thing is to avoid them. Hippos kill more people than any other carnivore. So go out into the wild. It's also a good idea to bring a drone. It looks like it's getting dark soon. Ed Stafford needs to find a place to set up camp. There was still a lot of elephant dung on the road. The smell, the feel. You don't have to taste it to know. If we're lucky, we'll find some nuts. These are perfect for a snack. Too bad the teeth won't open. It's going to take some tools. But there's not much time left for Ed Stafford to get on the road. Animals become extremely active at night. Hugging your hands is hard to get a good night's sleep. If you don't have time to build a shelter like Ed Stafford, you can climb up a tree and rest. But beware of lions and the like who climb trees. Secure location is very important, even though there are crocodiles in the water. But Ed Stafford isn't worried. He didn't believe the crocodile would dare come here. It's just that the water isn't filtered. Or are you afraid you might infect your body with something? There's no chance to improve your life today. There's snakes sitting in the trees. It's not easy finding a place to sleep. Too bad we don't have time to make a fire. Or we're gonna eat the whole roast tonight. Ed Stafford had to look somewhere else. This is the only tree I've been around. It feels a little high after you climb it. This is the end of a fall. Ed Stafford could only restrain himself with a belt. More or less can improve the safety. Cheap stuff bought online. I wonder how the quality is. Ed Stafford, it's cash back on good reviews. I hope I don't betray my trust. The next day came without a hitch. I woke up to the sound of elephants. Occasionally a lion's roar came. Made me want to scream. It's a little safer up in the trees, though. But the thought of an animal passing by down there. I dare not sleep too soundly. Or, do you want to see what's in the neighborhood? An elephant herd came by last night and left a baby. I'm glad I didn't go near his tree. There are too many animals here. It's like being in a zoo. As I was talking, I met the elephants. Now is not the time to mess with them, especially with a baby elephant in there. If an elephant stares down at you, then it could be an attack. The best thing is to do nothing. Just wait till they're out of here. Ed Stafford misses his children a little. I still don't spend enough time with my family. When this challenge is over, it's going to take some time to relax. The elephants knocked down many trees in their path, just enough to be collected and used. Build a small platform in the tree while we're still strong. Do as much work as you can to make things easier back there. Make sure it's tied tight. No one wants to fall apart in the middle of their sleep. Ed Stafford found rocks on the ground. This is just a place to crack a nut. I had a good day today. Not only will the shelter be set up and crack open nuts to fill your stomach, I believe that the small life will be better and better. Let's see if there's any more surprises in the dung. Collect as many as you can. No one will refuse this delicacy. Less than an hour before dark. Ed Stafford needs to focus on building a shelter. Even if you don't have any tools, I could do that with brute force. If you just keep going up there, it won't be done before dark. Ed Stafford just tied it up. All it takes is a miracle from Mighty. I'm afraid it'll break in the middle. What Ed Stafford had feared had happened. The rope is weaker than I thought. Looks like we're going to have to work our way up. It takes more energy than you thought. After a lot of effort, it looks like something. At least I don't have to strap myself in tonight. It's only the next day. The body is exhausted. You can see what's going on up there. After all that hard work, it's time to replenish. Crack the nuts open one by one. It tastes pretty good. The only problem is that it rains at night. Ed Stafford doesn't have a roof to keep out the rain. It's all about physical toughness. The tree is quite tall. I don't know if I got hit by lightning. Ed Stafford stayed up all night. I barely made it to dawn. Mental state is not very good. The lower part of my body is still wet. If it wasn't for reducing the post-audit work, Ed Stafford wants to take it all off. Now, it's the rainy season, and it's going to be more frequent. The roof has to be added anyway, okay. Get some food before you go to work. The most commonly available nearby. It's probably water lilies by the river. If not now, there is no knife. Ed Stafford really wants to catch the alligator pond. The stomach was already rumbling with hunger. It's better to eat the water lilies first. We are not advised to be so reckless as him. It's still pretty dangerous by the water. I don't know if you've ever eaten water lilies. White roots are the favorite of baboons. Ed Stafford thinks it's like a bean sprout. It doesn't taste very good. It's better if it's crunchy. Ed Stafford didn't clean it. You can still smell the stinky mud. Ed Stafford suddenly picked up a more disgusting smell. Man, who would have thought this would happen? The water was soaked with dead hippos. It's obviously been gutted by crocodiles. Next door is where you drink your own water. Whether it's uncomfortable or not, we'll have to do a thorough examination when we get back. Although the crocodiles here are fed. But Ed Stafford didn't really want to get in the water either. If I had a knife in my hand, maybe we can get a hippo skin. Let's get the roof built first. There's a lot of reeds around here that just might be useful. Ed Stafford can just pick up a tree trunk, keep swinging to kill the roots. Trying to get the roof up, that's a lot of material. This is all I got after a busy day. It took more time and energy than I thought. Fortunately, it wasn't too far from the camp. I can barely accept it. Suddenly found new footprints on the ground. If Ed Stafford is right, it must have been a lion stepping out. He was eager to follow. Don't know what surprises are waiting for you. Followed a short walk. Sure enough, there was prey hanging from the tree. Looks like it's been a while. You don't have to climb up and take it down. It's a little close to the camp. That cabin's not going to stand a beating. Don't go all this way. The hippo next door keeps staring over here. Ed Stafford wanted to go over there and teach him a lesson. The roof didn't go up very fast. It's mostly a drag on the material. If it's on the ground, I would have been in bed already. Ed Stafford has succeeded in bringing the reeds up. Now we just need to lay it out. There are a lot of surprises in a field challenge. Want to get things done anyway. Make sure you stay calm and don't panic. Ed Stafford found it really challenging to start from scratch. It's especially rewarding when it's done. I'm just about to do it now. Life was not easy. We'll have to figure out how to make a fire and get food later. The shelter is almost done here. Whether we can live a good life depends on tomorrow. Day 4 of the challenge. I heard a lot of baboons last night, very close to the shelter. Ed Stafford was walking around the neighborhood. I suddenly noticed a monitor lizard in the tree. It's a bad thing to accidentally get bitten. Fortunately, the tree is not very tall. Ed Stafford just sticks his stick through it. It went a lot better than I thought. Go straight after him. Too bad it was just a little bit off. If I could have caught him, you can recover a lot of energy. You can't put too much effort into a monitor lizard. The energy needs to be distributed. Ed Stafford thinks it should be a spear. Maybe we can string it up in the tree. I'm just gonna have to refill it on the hour. Whenever Ed Stafford wants to go somewhere else, we'll send a drone to explore the road. See where it's easier to get food. As you can see, there's plenty to eat. I made Ed Stafford cry. The biggest fear is running into elephants. It can be really deadly to a tree house. A tree would be gone if you hit it. It doesn't look good in the distance. If we can't start a fire now, not when it rains, need to find some tinder to light up. Luckily, it's dry all around. It's a lot easier to start a fire. Ed Stafford didn't take much time. It takes a while to light the fire. Now you can feel the rain falling. We need to move fast to get these things done. To make sure the tree house doesn't catch fire, we can get some dirt by the river, take it back to the tree house, and lay it flat. Then you can bring the fire up. It used to be a simple thing. I didn't expect any surprises. Luckily, there were no blisters. Ed Stafford was set up well before the storm. The mood is so good. I feel like this challenge is going to be very comfortable. Ed Stafford actually wanted to be in finance, but I'm not cut out for it. After choosing wilderness survival, that's the smoother it gets. Ed Stafford felt he was born to starve. I don't recommend building like him. Don't look easy. It still takes a little skill to pull it off. There are still nuts to eat, although that would have been a great challenge. But this is not what I want. He's going to the river tomorrow to fish and eat. I wonder if Ed Stafford was talking about crocodiles. Soon the 5th day came. It's not a very comfortable place to sleep. There's smoke in my eyes all the time. Clean up and start today's challenge. What kind of fish are there in the river? I'm sure it'll fill you up. This corner is perfect for a cup. We could put some water in the tree house for the night. Ed Stafford also found the right material for the weapon nearby. It's just the right bifurcation. How can I fix it if I don't have to? We just need to put some sticks in place. Soon the harpoon was mostly done. Now we just need to harden the tip. It will become sharper when polished. Ed Stafford thought it was enough to pierce the fish. It's up to the lucky fish to experience it. You try to throw a few rounds into the water. It feels very good. It is afraid that the thrust is not enough to cause too low lethality. And the bifurcation gap is too big. It needs to close a little bit more to make sure it doesn't break. I thought we're going to eat nuts again today. I didn't expect to find an orange. They fall off as soon as they mature. A lot of animals eat it. Ed Stafford is really cheap. This one called monkey orange is very different. It looks like jelly inside. The amount of sugar is also very excessive. Perfect for wilderness survival when you're hungry. It restores a lot of energy. That goes with the fish. It's starting to make my mouth water. Ed Stafford is in a great mood. Treehouses have their limitations though, but it looks good now. You don't have to worry about animals stepping on you, plus a flame to keep you warm. The whole person, that is a lot easier. If you can make sure the food is stable. I would have liked to have come on vacation like this. Day 6 of the challenge. This side of the river is really rich. I'm afraid of being suddenly attacked by a crocodile. Just going down to catch some fish. I didn't expect it to rain. Can only go back to strengthen the harpoon. The front end is reinforced, and a booster at the end. No feathers can be used with vines. Looks like it's a little sloppy, but the effect is fine. Ed Stafford is very confident that he will catch the fish. Head to the shallow and immediately to catch the fish. There's less chance of alligators here. It's not that I'm afraid to fight an alligator. I just want to eat some fish today. It's easier to find fish here though, but it's not easy to get a fork in the middle. Just keep trying to stick it in the water. Ed Stafford thinks he has no problem with his skills. There must be something wrong with this harpoon. See if you can gather the fish together, so you get a better hit rate. Ideas are good, but there was no way to get fish to eat. Ed Stafford just wants to work on his spearfish skills. Otherwise, we'd be fishing in another area. The body is getting weaker day by day. It's time to go home and get some rest. Found giraffes feeding there. I don't really want to disturb them. I just don't have the energy to make the deer home. Maybe it's the smell. He was driven away before he could take a few steps. The challenge is on its 7th day. Ed Stafford wasn't exactly comfortable. I haven't had a good meal yet. That's not what I thought at first. Plus, it's been raining lately. The animals in the water become more active. There's no way Ed Stafford can beat 100. He thought of a more convenient way to drink water. That is the use of sheep horns to draw water. Then you can get water from the treehouse. Ed Stafford doesn't have to lie on his stomach in the river every time he gets thirsty. It feels so much better. Drinking that was very satisfying. It is estimated that 2 or 3 times a day should be enough. Life up there is getting better and better. Ed Stafford thinks the rope is too important. You can save yourself a lot of effort. There's a lack of food right now. We don't know if we'll get food until the challenge is over. To make the harpoon easier to use, Ed Stafford is going to build a projectile. In this way, both lethality and accuracy are guaranteed. It would be more appropriate to bend the branch a little. Like this is pretty awesome. A little bit of work is all it takes. Just point the tip at the tail, and then you can throw it out. Ed Stafford is very happy with that. Gave it a little try. It worked much better than expected. I was hoping to catch some fish before it got dark, but there are a lot of crocodiles roaming in the water, and they're all heading towards Ed Stafford. You don't usually get this many. I don't know if there's any fish left in the water. If it wasn't for the fear of eating too much crocodile meat, Ed Stafford would love to grab it. The challenge continued on the 8th day, although now the body can successfully complete the challenge. But Ed Stafford wasn't happy at all. He wants to eat a lot of meat. Life now is just living. It takes extra effort to be comfortable. Nearby baboons can be seen in action. Ed Stafford always thought they would survive. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with humans. He needs gas, food, and a good life. Even if it's just for one day. Ed Stafford had been waiting by the river for an hour. No crocodiles were seen gathering. He's going to build a dam, so the fish will gather together. There must have been a fish when he harpooned. The soil is very easy to dig. I was put it in a pile. Now Ed Stafford can drive the fish over there. All I did was scare a fish. Man, you can hit the fish like that. There's something in this thrower. Ed Stafford's got a good catch. I've never heard a laugh before. It turns out that failure is not terrible, only if it ends up being something. Take the fish back immediately and grill it. Ed Stafford is a little worried about the neighbors. Get yourself to the treehouse. After a while, the fish is cooked, and the bones break when you break them. Look at the flesh of the snowflake. This is the right way to open for wilderness survival. Ed Stafford doesn't know how to describe it. It's delicious anyway. If I could eat this meat every day. What's so hard about spending the last month alone? I'm going home the day after tomorrow. Don't have time to enjoy life. Ed Stafford is completely immersed in the delicious. I recommend you come and try it. Trying to survive in the wild. Tools are really important. Would rather spend more time on it. And don't waste your energy blindly looking for food. Day 9 of the challenge. I can do it without doing anything. But Ed Stafford still chooses to catch fish. For him to try every day. Unfortunately, it was a little low. The rest of the time, Ed Stafford has been really practicing throwing. Pretend that shelf is a fish. It was a lot of fun. He also upgraded the harpoon. This time we'll just catch the fish. The mood is so good. This tiger fish has very sharp teeth. Take it back for processing immediately. Ed Stafford really likes fish. The top side is really attractive to fat. You can feel the smell across the screen. Although the fish was delicious. But there are too many spines in it. Fix it. It'll make it even more enjoyable. So good. Even the bones. Ed Stafford thinks the challenge is okay. Welcome to experience it. Before you know it, the 10th day has come. Ed Stafford doesn't like this treehouse. Leave it to someone else. You don't choose your comfort zone to challenge. It's only 10 days. It wouldn't be easy for anyone else. Anyway, Ed Stafford was happy with the challenge, I hope next time I can go to a more remote place. Let's look forward to Ed Stafford's next challenge.